A relevant season in which they're not going to win games.
Yeah.
How in the world are we not hearing from people that Shedeur is really good?
I don't know.
Wouldn't we be hearing that from somebody?
I think
He knows he's caught in a lie. Why would somebody tell such an easily verifiable lie?
In 2 days, I've had multiple people that are players reach out and say people inside the locker room feel like Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback.
Something happened inside Cleveland sports media that nobody saw coming. A moment so revealing, so openly contradictory, that it cracked the entire narrative surrounding Shedeur Sanders in one single blow. A simple question from Anthony Lima triggered a chain reaction. A challenge tossed into the air and instantly destroyed by the very evidence he pretended didn't exist. And once those receipts surfaced, real locker room whispers, real insider confirmations, real voices from inside the Browns organization, the truth hit harder than any headline. Someone in Cleveland media had been caught pushing a storyline that collapses the moment facts enter the room. The tension didn't simmer, it erupted. Players, insiders, and fans suddenly found themselves staring at a moment that exposed bias, obsession, and a deliberate attempt to bury the rise of a young quarterback who has the locker room buzzing. This wasn't drama. This was a fault line snapping in real time.
Defense too.
Well, wait a minute. What about Mary
against
Kay?
them.
Doesn't Mary Kay say he's good every time he comes on, or every time she comes on?
Yeah, but she also says Deshaun Watson is making big strides and is going to be ready.
Are they both making big strides?
I am not hearing.
Wait a minute.
that the Browns are making some egregious mistake
The hell's
by
that cut
playing
sheet?
the guy that has some of the worst numbers in the NFL
How's that cut
and
sheet?
has some of the laugh out loud hilarious low light moments that we've
The
seen
hell's that cut
at the
sheet?
early stages of a football career. I am not hearing that they're playing the wrong guy.
It all began with a single question. A question that should have been harmless, but instantly revealed something much bigger. Anthony Lima, a well-known Cleveland sports voice, sat back in his chair and asked with confidence, if Shedeur Sanders is really that good, why are there no leaks? Why isn't anyone inside the Browns saying they're botching his development? It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't analysis. It was a setup. A question designed to imply that no one inside the Browns believes in Shedeur Sanders. But before Lima could even finish laying down that narrative, something happened that he didn't expect. His own co-host instantly shut the door on the claim. Ken Carman jumped in, reminding him that yes, someone did say Sanders was good. Multiple people had said it. Right there, live, the narrative cracked. But that was only the beginning, because outside that studio, another voice entered the conversation. A voice Lima could not ignore. Garrett Bush, an insider, connected, respected among players, and absolutely unafraid to say what he's really hearing from inside that locker room.
Ultimate Cleveland Browns podcast, and he's going to immediately debunk those lies and show that Anthony Lima either has mashed potato for brains or is telling an obvious lie.
Maybe I gotta just stand. Do I gotta do backflips off this table?
Yes.
Because I done told you multiple times on this show.
Yes.
I said my phone went off the hook last week. I don't even know these folks. They're like, listen, we tired of seeing this. We're tired.
Players?
Yes.
Okay.
We're tired. You do the math. It ain't special teams dudes running down on kickoff.
I hear you. So, yeah, I don't.
So here's the thing. The reality of the situation is, it ain't up to the players to decide who it is. The decision is on Kevin Stefanski to play the guy who gives you an opportunity to do something. And we've obviously seen that he's not the dude. We've seen it. But we have to sit here and pretend. Why are we pretending?
I don't.
Bush revealed something that instantly blew the lid off Lima's claim. Players have been talking. Veterans have been talking. And what they've been saying is the exact opposite of Lima's narrative. Bush stated clearly that multiple Browns players, not one, not two, had told him directly, Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback. Not maybe, not potentially, not someday. Franchise. And they weren't whispering it either. They were frustrated, tired of watching the current QB play, ready for change.
Not regular dudes. This not like the backup rundown kicker. Now, there's a difference between what the front office say and the coaching staff say and what players say. But I do know for a fact, according to these individuals, that there are people who are not only excited about to see if he could play, but thought he should be getting more opportunity when he showed what he could do.
This is where the story turns. Because this wasn't just one bad take. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't a simple mistake live on air. This was a pattern. A 2-year obsession disguised as criticism. The receipts go back to 2022, then 2023, then 2024. Tweet after tweet, comment after comment, clip after clip, all targeting the same people. Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, and the rest of the Sanders family. Even when Colorado was winning, even when Shedeur was lighting up college football, even when the hype was justified, the tone stayed the same. Mocking, dismissing, twisting, doubting. This wasn't analysis, it was obsession. A deep-rooted dislike disguised as sports talk. And now, the argument he made on air wasn't just wrong. It was part of a pattern.
Let me tell you this. If that's the case, then I can't do another one of these things. If this is the way it is, then I don't care. Put Bailey Zappi in there. Fine. If Shedeur is not ready, I can't stomach another week of this. You can't. Well, he's in there before he's ready to play. Clearly, he's in there before he was ready to play. I was wrong. I thought that they were at the end of it with Joe Flacco. You got rid of Joe Flacco, so it's not like you can put Joe back out there and then maybe give Dylan Gabriel a breather. So if you don't want to go directly to Shedeur, fine. Put Bailey Zappi out there and give Dylan a breather.
While the media argued, something else was happening behind closed doors, something much more important. Players weren't confused. Players weren't doubting. Players weren't silent. They were watching Shedeur Sanders every single day. His accuracy, his leadership, his poise under pressure, his command of the offense, his work ethic, and they liked what they saw. Some saw him as the future. Some saw him as the better option now. Some were openly excited about what he could do if given a real opportunity. This wasn't a fairy tale. This wasn't fan fiction. This wasn't social media hype. This was coming from veterans, from respected names, from people whose opinion actually matters. So why pretend the leaks don't exist? Why pretend the locker room is silent? Why pretend players aren't impressed? The answer was simple. Because telling the truth would damage Lima's anti-Sanders narrative. Where does this story go next? That's the real question. The leaks inside the Browns locker room aren't going away. Players still believe what they believe. Insiders still hear what they hear. The tension between the current QB situation and Shedeur's potential is still rising. The media's credibility has been shaken. Fans are paying closer attention. And every time Shedeur Sanders takes a snap, every time he makes a throw, every time he steps onto that field, the pressure climbs higher. This wasn't just a moment. This wasn't just a clip. This wasn't just a debate. This was a shift, a fracture, a reveal, a moment when a media figure got exposed. Not because he was wrong, but because the truth finally pushed back. And now the world is watching more closely than ever.